Hi, Music Theory 3. This is Chapter 17, Secondary Leading Tone Chords, and we're going to do a little spelling, and some ID right now. So let's jump over here. We're in Chapter 17, Self-Test 1. This is on page 275, and we'll just jump into this. We're going to do maybe one triad, and then we're going to do a couple of seventh chords, or half diminished and fully diminished seven chords. And we'll just go from there. Okay, so let's jump right in. Let's start with number 1 here. And the first thing you need to do is figure out what the root of your tonicized chord is. This is just like secondary dominance, only we're going to take a slightly different direction here. So C is the root of our 2 chord. And so now instead of going a perfect fifth up as we did with secondary dominance, we are going to go a minor second down. What's a minor second down from C? Remember, it's a letter name, half step, and letter name, right? So we want to go down to B, and we want it to be a B natural because that's a half step away from C sharp, or C natural. So B natural is the root of our diminished triad here. And so let's build a diminished triad, and this should be really easy because all you have to think about is 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2 minor thirds, B, D, and F. And there you go. Diminished quality there. And so our chord is this. In first inversion, D would be the lowest note. So we want D, F, and B natural. Voila. And make sure, after you've written it out, that you're reconciling it with your key signature. Of course, B flat major has a B flat in it, and so we need to make that now a B natural. Okay, let's jump over to number 2 now. So this is a 5 in the key of G major. Write that key signature out. Here's 5. Root of our tonicized chord, or 5, is D. And again, to find the root of our secondary leading tone chord, we need to go a minor second down. And a minor second down from D, one letter is C, and a half step away from D would be C sharp, not C natural. So the root of our secondary leading tone chord is C natural. Now, this is a half diminished, so we need a diminished triad plus a minor 7. So minor thirds, 1, 2, 3, E, 1, 2, 3, G natural. So E natural, G natural. And we can think minor 7th on the outside, or we can think, if you want, major third here, which is 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's B natural. Or a minor 7th from C sharp is B natural. So there's our chord. Be able to get to that chord fairly quickly. Okay, so here we go. We need it in 4/3 inversion, which means G is going to be our lowest note. So here's G, and we'll write the B off to the side. We need a C sharp for it to be a chromatic harmony. And finally, E. And there we have it. Easy enough. Let's zoom over to one that is a fully diminished 7 chord. So here we go. Let's go to number 5. We'll do this one last. 6 in the key of E flat major. And again, E flat major is 1, 2, 3 flats here. The 6 chord would be C. Root would be C. And again, we want to go down a minor second to find out what the root of our secondary leading tone chord is. Think about it this way. If you have a tonic chord, where is its 7 chord? Right? Its 7 chord is just below, a minor second below. So a minor second below C, B, and that is B natural. Okay, and this is the root of our secondary leading tone chord, so we want B natural, D, F, and A flat for a fully diminished 7 chord. Again, all minor thirds. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. B is chromatic, however, A flat is in the key. So we don't actually need to write out that accidental for A flat. And here we go. B natural, D natural, F natural, and that A flat can just stick around. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do one in minor key. Let's zoom over to, let's do number 14. Here we go. Oh, number 14 is going to give us the same chord we had before. Let's do number 6. Operate an alto clef here. Here we go. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. And we want a major 6 chord here. Major 6. 6 in the key of C sharp is A. Okay, and what's the root of our secondary leading tone chord? A minor second down from A. And if you said G sharp, you are correct. Okay, so let's think about our secondary dominant chord. We need a G sharp, a B natural, a D natural, D sharp's in the key here, and finally an F natural. And we can count that up in half steps. Here's G sharp, 1, 2, 3, B natural, 1, 2, 3, D natural, F natural. So we start on G sharp. Now G sharp is actually diatonic in our key, so we don't need to adjust it. B, D, however, we need to make a natural, and this is the difference here. This is what makes it chromatic. And finally, F natural as well. And there you go. So the steps are, find the root of the tonicized chord, go down a minor second to find the root of your secondary leading tone chord. Finally, build either a diminished triad, a fully diminished 7, or a half diminished 7. Then put it in the correct inversion when you write it on the staff, as well as reconciling the notes you need with the actual key that you're in. So you need to make sure you add naturals, sharps, flats as necessary. Let's go in and do some ID here. Okay, and so this will be exactly the opposite procedure. So let's start over here with number 1. And the first step is to find out what the root of our chord is, or put this in root position. So G sharp, B, D, F. What do you know? This is the chord we were just dealing with. The root of our tonicized chord of this side of it, right, our tonicized chord, and this might be confusing. The root of our tonicized chord will be a minor second above this. Think about it this way. A leading tone chord, a 7 fully diminished 7 chord, the root of that chord, which is your leading tone, will be a minor second above, right? And that will be your tonic pitch. So you can always find that root, and if you go up a half step, you'll find the root of your tonicized chord. In this case, it's A. Okay, so here's the steps for understanding if it's chromatic or not. And I skipped this, and I should have. The first step is this a chromatic chord? Yes, it has a G sharp in it. Second step, is this a diminished triad, a fully diminished 7, or a half diminished 7 chord? And this chord, you would say, is fully diminished. And so it fills our box. It checks that box, excuse me. So you would say this is some sort of secondary leading tone chord, right? And that could be 7, or it could be half diminished 7 up here. However, if your chord is chromatic and it's major or it's major minor 7, then it's a 5, a secondary dominant, right? It's a 5/7 of something or a 5 of something. So now you have some more variables here, right? So if it's chromatic, you have 2 paths to travel, either the secondary leading tone path or the secondary dominant path. So this is why quality is really important to figure out as you're going through these. Okay. So, fine. This is a secondary leading tone chord. We know that because it's a fully diminished 7 chord, right? We figure out it's tonicizing A. And then we can ask ourselves, how does A work in the key of C major? And you would say it is minor 6. Ta-da! Okay, so I think the instructions tell you to put an X if it's not a secondary leading tone chord. Let's go back and make sure that's the case. So, label any chord that can be a secondary leading tone chord according to the steps outlined. Label all others with an X. So in this case, if it is a secondary dominant chord, we have to put an X because it doesn't fit into our secondary leading tone categorization. Okay, so let's jump now over to number 4. Let's build this chord. I see a C sharp, E, G, and finally B flat. So is it chromatic? Yes, we can check that. It's definitely chromatic. It has both a B flat and a G natural, okay? Does it follow our diminished, fully diminished 7 or half diminished 7? Well, let's check. C sharp, E, G. Diminished triad for sure. And then we do have one more minor third on the outside, so this is in fact a fully diminished 7 chord. So it seems to be that it is a secondary leading tone chord rather. And 7 fully diminished, E is the lowest note, so we would say 6-5. Now we want to figure out what it's tonicizing. Here's our root. We want to go up a minor second. And sorry, I'm cluttering all of this. Up a minor second. Up a minor second from C sharp is D. So we are tonicizing D. What is D in the key of A major? Well, hopefully you said it is major 4. This is a 7 fully diminished 6-5 of 4. It's tonicizing 4. Okay, let's jump on over to number 6. Build this chord, G, B. We'll erase all this stuff, except for our instructions over here. G, B natural, D, and F. Okay, chromatic? Yes, we got that B natural in there. So we're good on here. Now is it diminished, fully diminished, or half diminished 7? Well, if we look at this, I see a major triad and a major minor 7. So it does not fit our second criteria. So this could very well be, and it is in fact, a secondary dominant, but it is not a secondary leading tone chord. So there you have it. Okay, so again, chromatic, yes. Does it fit the chord quality after we've spelled it out? Of diminished, triad, fully diminished 7, or half diminished 7? Yes, then it's probably a secondary leading tone chord. Find the root of the chord, go up a minor second to find the root of what you're tonicizing, just as we went through in the overview. And this can be found in the book too. And then you can write out your chord accordingly. All right, so let's do now just a little bit of part writing before we finish today. And we're going to jump on down to self-test 17.2. Sorry. Here we are. Okay, let's start, and we can start with number 1, which is just a triad here. Sorry, I don't know what that was. Not sure why I got kicked out of our Read Anywhere app. Sorry guys, we got booted here. We will zoom back over. There we go. Okay, so let's get over to our secondary leading tone part writing here. And here we go. Let's do number 1. So first step, spell it out. E natural, G, and B flat in the key. Okay, chromatic? Yes. Diminished, fully diminished, or half diminished? Yes, this is a diminished triad here. All minor thirds there. Okay, so what are we tonicizing? Let's go up a minor second from E, and a minor second from E would be F. So we're tonicizing F here. This is the leading tone chord of F. This is just a triad, so diminished 6 chord. Remember, triads can never be half diminished. That quality is reserved for only 7th chords, only for 7th chords. Okay, here we go. So what is F in the key of B flat? It is 5. Where do you think we'll resolve? As I said, you will almost always resolve to the tonicized chord. Okay, please keep in mind your leading tone, or in this case, your secondary leading tone, which will now be the root of a secondary leading tone, right? Okay, so we want that to be resolved up, and voila. If you can manage it, try to resolve that 5th inward. Now here, not possible without having a doubled 3rd and no 5th. So this is what I would recommend to you. You want to voice this up, because otherwise, actually, nope, you can do it either way. I'm sorry. This voicing would work just fine. Peachy keen right there. A good bet would be maybe a chord that would be spelled similarly, only diatonic. So in this case, that would be a 4-6 chord. So again, without the chromatic pitch there. Watch out for those unacceptable unequal fifths. Remember, that's parallel fifths between any two voices, right? We're starting with a diminished fifth, moving to a perfect fifth, and the bass voice has to be involved, so we do want to avoid those. Let's jump over to number 3. And we'll finish up here. Let's spell out our chord, and our chord in root position is E natural, G, B flat, and D flat. What do we have? Diminished triad and a diminished 7. This is a fully diminished 7 chord. E natural is our lowest note. So this is actually in root position, fully diminished 7 of, what is it of? There's E, let's go up a minor second, and we get to F again. And so this is actually the same chord as we were dealing with before, just happens to be. Okay, and what is F in the key of A flat major? It is minor 6. And so we will also go to minor 6. Sorry, a little notification popped up there. Again, with all of these chords, we want our leading tone, our secondary leading tone, which the secondary leading tone of our tonicized chord is the root of this chord. We want it to go up. So find it, go up. Okay, and we also want to resolve our chordal 7th down. So here's our D flat, and we want that to resolve down. And if you do this, your voice leading should be A-OK. In this case, we can't voice up to C, right? And we don't want to double the C anyway. The best thing to do here is to voice down, otherwise we'll have those unacceptable unequal fifths. Okay, and then G can just resolve down as well, which provides for a nice chord. A good chord to precede it, again, would be a chord that looks diatonic in nature, spelled very similarly. So this is a 5-7 chord. You could also precede it with another 6 chord. And there you have it. If you need more examples, you want to meet up about this, I'm happy to do a Zoom meeting with you. Let me know if you need any additional help. Thanks.